Welcome to the course Methodology of Teaching Biology. The goal of the course is to form students' knowledge of the most important aspects of biology teaching methods. The course examines the system of methods, forms and aids of teaching biology, quality control of teaching and the organization of educational activities in the process of teaching biology, implemented within the framework of the updated educational content. After completing this course, students will be able to first apply aspects of the teaching methodology of biology in the educational process, use methods, technologies, and aids in the process of teaching biology, and last, plan and organize the educational process, taking into account the updated content of education. So, methodology of teaching biology is a science of the elements totality of the process of teaching and upbreeding due to the characteristic of the subject. Main function of methodology of teaching biology is study, or in another word, research. Therefore, methodology of teaching biology answered for the following questions. So first of all, why study biology? Second, when and how to teach. And last, how to educate school children using the subject biology. The object of research is the educational process in biology at school. The subject of research is the goals, objectives, and content of the educational processes, methods, means, and forms of education and development of school children in biology. The goals of methodology of teaching biology are in line with the general pedagogical goals and objectives. Methodology of teaching biology considers the content of the academic subject, methods and forms of training, educational tasks of the subject of biology, equipment, and teaching aids. The structure of biology teaching content is divided into two groups of methods, general and specific. The general teaching methodology considers general patterns and foundations of teaching, the relationship between the courses, taking into account their characteristics, educational tasks throughout the cycle of biological education at school, the unity of the content and teaching methods, the relationship between the forms of educational works and the continuity between courses, material base of training, and etc. Specific methods considers teaching issues special for each course, taking into account the peculiarity of the content of education material, the age of the school children, and more. In specific methodologies, a methodology for conducting lessons, excursions, and extracurricular activities for each course in biology is presented. General and specific methods, of course, are interconnected. The methodology of teaching biology is interconnected with such sciences as sociology, philosophy, natural science, and other biological sciences too. The implementation of the goals and objectives of teaching and upbreeding is based on the principles that determine the construction and selection of the education content, the development and the use of teaching methods and means, the application of organizational forms of the educational process. First, the didactic principle fulfill, according to the goals and objectives, the regulating function of the entire learning process. They are important in the practice of teaching. Their observance allow you to successfully achieve the desired results. The first principle about unity of training, education, and development. This principle in relation to the study of biology means such a system of interaction of all components of the educational process, in which the task of disclosing the content of education are comprehensively solved and methods, means, and forms are used in a coordinated direction to achieve a high level of education, upbreeding, and development of school children in general. For example, studying the theory of the evolution of the organic world should help school children identify the essence of the laws of the historical development of the organic world, mastering a certain amount of scientific knowledge and skills to apply them. The educational effects of learning is manifested in the fitness of the student musician, his ability to defend his views, enter science, to anti-scientific ideas about the origin, diversity, and complication of living nature. The next principle is about science and systematics. These principles are expressively provided by the process of forming a system of school children knowledge on the basis of biological science. Each section of the biological course corresponds to a specific area of scientific knowledge, although it is not a simple microscopy of it. The scientific principle guarantees full scientific knowledge of facts, concepts, laws, theories, reliably sustainable and approved insights having ideological and practical significance. Science in teaching means a gradual departure from everyday ideas and unfounded prejudice, comparing the form from standpoint of scientific knowledge. Classical theories of biological science are included in the school course based on scientific facts. For example, the theory of cell structure is supported by student observation, a comparative disposition of cells in virus tissue. In didactics, interdisciplinary connections are considered both a pedagogical problem and as principle and as one of the conditions for the successful implementation of educational tasks. First, guided by the principle of scientific character, a biology teacher increases her contribution to the formation of a scientific worldview that opposes metaphysical religious views. The next principle about unity of theory and practice, about connection between learning and life. This principle determines the natural necessity of disclosing the scientific foundation of modern production, in another word, polytechnism. All components of biological education are of a polytechnic nature. Two sides of the reflection in school biology of the relationship between theoretical material and production can be distinguished. One is expressed in the disclosure of the biological foundation for improving the quality of production processes in which living systems are used. The other is in characterizing the ways of regulating the optimal impact of modern production on living nature. In the methodology of biology, much attention was constantly paid to polytechnical issues, and their disclosure was considered the most typical example of the relationship between biology and agronomy, animal science, and nature conversation. The unity of theory and practice in teaching is manifested in the disclosure of both general planetary phenomena and processes, the relationship between mankind and nature, the scientific phenomena, processes occurring in the intermediate environment of the school. First, this principle teaches the student to constantly and intelligently apply scientific knowledge in everyday life, study, and work. Last principle about accessibility and visibility. This principle of accessibility expresses concerns for the real possibilities for the full development of the mental, spiritual, physical strength of the student. For example, a normal academic load. The problem of overloading with studies at school and at home is especially acute at the present time, when the volume of educational information has expanded and various sources of knowledge are provided to the student. For example, with the internet, computer, and etc.